Harlem, a cesspool of cultural growth from which emerged phosphorescent fungi, creatures that themselves gave birth. Art, music, and poetry. This profound proliferation of art and craft in the gullies of inner-city New York was synergetic with the rise of Black culture in the time period between the 1920s and the 1940s, better known to all as the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance was a time period fraught with huge change in the United States, bringing about cultural diversification and the sparks of the civil rights movement. One of these changes was the rise of radical politics and the condemnation of radical politics, namely communism. My topic of investigation hinges on the coincidence of the rise of communism and the rise of Black culture during the Harlem Renaissance. One of the biggest figures in the Harlem Renaissance was Langston Hughes. In my internal assessment, I will be looking at his contribution to the rise of communism in America in the 1920s through the 1930s. Hughes was a poet, playwright, author, and activist. The primary documents I will study are collections of his poems, as well as a transcript of his court hearing when he was suspected of communism, as well as a couple of his autobiographies. These autobiographies are named The Big C and I Wonder as I Wander. Some secondary documents include academic essays written by social studies professors talking about Hughes and other Harlem Renaissance artists and their involvement in the cultural change in the United States. Unfortunately, many of these pages are locked behind hideous paywalls. Darn capitalism. And that's where you come in. I'm once again asking for your financial support. Haha, just kidding. I will try my best to find these resources through actual and digital libraries, as well as other many legal sources. I promise. With my fingers crossed. Now, you might be wondering why this little blue cyclops is studying the Harlem Renaissance out of millions of events in human history. The biggest reason I want to study the Harlem Renaissance is because, as an artist in America, I am invested in art history in America. I am also interested in the rise of modern progressive communism, and I want to take a look at the roots of that movement in early American history. The importance of studying this topic go beyond just my interests. The American school system often overlooks the stories and the happenings of domestic ethnic groups, instead focusing on international policies and wars. Although equally important, these tales are silenced. Given this opportunity to investigate, I want to tell more colored tales. I guess as a Nepali kid, it would be more appropriate to tell a history of Nepal. But I will not, because that is realistically more work than I can handle. That said, thank you for watching my video. Merry quarantine.